Well, Matt, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, super busy. I had to fit
Oh
the
yeah, we're
podcast in like we do. Yeah,
yeah.
so today is podcast episode number 55, and we're going to be going over this week's weekly brief titled Business Inventories Running Low.
Mhm.
And so there's lots of indicators that we can monitor to determine the health of the economy. We've talked about consumer spending, which is kind of the big factor. 66% of the economy is consumer spending.
Right.
But another way is to look at inventory.
Mhm.
And so there's this delicate balance between sales coming in and purchasing managers keeping ahead of sales, the sales managers telling the purchasing management, this is how much we need, this is what we have coming on. It's always a fun dichotomy because salespeople are perennially optimistic and purchasing managers are perennially pessimistic. So
Right.
they're underbuying and salespeople go, no, 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 we're going to sell, sell, sell. And so that's kind of the dynamic there. And so, in looking at the report that came out yesterday, it is in the manufacturing and trade sector of decline, in the first decline since 2021. And so, what that is meaning is that sales have been increasing faster than purchasing managers have been buying, and
Right.
so they've been depleting inventory, and that is typically, Matt, a good sign for the economy. So it's kind of like in the car business when there's no cars in the parking lot. That's good news because all the cars have been bought.
Right.
Bad news for the salespeople because they have no more cars to sell.
Nothing to sell. But usually they can get a higher price on what they got left. That's the one caveat that can sometimes help. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a very good point, Matt, because the inflation that came into play in 21 and 22, which
Yeah.
the Fed stepped in, is because that very same thing
Right.
is that we had demand and no supply.
Hmm.
And then that what resulted in that is a fast growing economy and more people working in the history of this country.
Right.
Now we're seeing that starting to settle out, right?
Yeah.
Cars are showing up on the lots, and what's happening with prices.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So basically, it looks like consumer spending is kind of slowing, which
Right,
which is kind of what we thought would happen a little bit, but the manufacturing and trade is going up,
right.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the health of the core of businesses, based on this report, they're going to start needing to pick up inventory. And what
Mhm.
that does is it speeds up the whole commerce engine because purchasing managers are now putting in orders, not because sales are coming in, they just need to catch up. So
I see.
sales have exceeded inventory supply, depleted inventory, so they need to spend inventory, which could give a little bit of a false positive that
Right.
it looks like the economy is doing better, but it's really just inventory getting caught up.
Playing
So,
catch up. Yeah.
so we do need to pay attention to that. So that's why we have to couple inventories with sales. Now, you had mentioned, referring to the U.S. Department of Commerce, that retail inventories have actually increased.
Mhm.
So that would indicate that either purchasing managers bought too much, or consumer spending has declined. And I would be inclined to think of the latter,
Mhm.
that understandably with interest rates going up, costs going up, that sales are starting to slow down. So the core business seems to be doing fine, but the retail sector seems to be slowing down a little bit.
Sure.
And so you have the opposite. So guess what purchasing managers in the retail department start doing?
What's that?
They start cutting back on their purchases because inventory has grown, which
Right.
can give a false negative that
Yeah.
the economy is slowing down when in really it's just purchasing managers managing their inventory.
Okay.
So these are factors that we like to pay attention to in managing this our model portfolios, and assessing the health of the economy is looking at all these different factors in play.
Mhm.
And so in today's weekly brief, and you can see this on our website at Up Capital MGMT, we have the S&P 500, which is up 4.5% year to date, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that we're having a mild to slow year.
Mhm.
We really need that when the returns are wild like they were in 2020, 21, up 20% each year. NASDAQ up 43% in 2020. You just are setting up a tsunami of volatility.
Right.
Now, NASDAQ, which was down 33% last year, is having a understandable and what would be considered a normal bounce back. It's up 13.3%, so not robust, but still good.
Mhm.
Technology is all over the place. NVIDIA, up 50% year to date or more.
Crazy.
So technology and NASDAQ can be a little more boom bust. And so both indices are ahead of their 20-day, 50-day, and 200-day moving average, which is really good. And that's going back to October of last year, October 11th of last year.
Mhm.
So it's not just a 2-week trend now. We have almost a 5.5-week month trend here.
Right. Some solid data points. Absolutely. Yeah.
But that stability and a little more mildness in the marketplace is a good thing.
Yeah. A lot more comforting instead of pulling our hair out every day,
Right. Another decent factor to pay attention to is not so much what happened, what didn't happen.
Mhm.
And we've been, potentially scared with a banking collapse, right?
Yeah,
They've
definitely.
been, media is trying to present a case of systemic issues among the banking sector. And what we have not seen are new headlines of new banks failures. So I think that's good.
Mhm.
And now, through the last couple of weeks, we did not really see a lot of volatility in the marketplace.
Right.
So that was good too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seems like people or the market, I should say, wasn't as worried about it, and they kind of understood that a lot of it would be kind of absorbed. Some of the bigger banks stepped up, which was encouraging, and
Right.
it doesn't seem like it had as large of an impact as we were worried about.
Right. Yeah. So the overall assessment from this podcast today is inventories are moving in a more mild, stabilized fashion, a little bit more predictable. We had wild swings in 2020 and 2021 of availability and supply and demand all over the place, but that seems to be settling out. And if
Right.
you think of a tsunami wave coming to shore, the first several waves are huge and devastating, but then over time, the waves dissipate until you have calm seas. And that's now we're in year 3 and seems to be, thankfully, what is happening. And now as the seas are calming, we're seeing high employment, more people working. We have millions of people with fixed mortgage rates that probably will not be selling, so I'll be slowing down the housing market. So as much as everybody likes to see their house go up 1% a month and their stocks go up 1% a day, that's just not normal. And
Right.
it just sets up for big sell-offs.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Short and sweet. And
Yeah.
it's good to see you, Matt. And,
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
For the 5 minutes we could grab.
yeah, I know. Both of us had a very busy day and still more to do. So
Right.
anyway, so that's it for today's podcast. Give us a call if you have any questions, or we'd love to talk to you. Refer us. We appreciate all of that. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Absolutely. Take care.